Demas's Restaurant on Northwest Broad Street.
Programming has been pre-recorded. The Good Neighbor Network, WGNS, Murfreesboro, Smyrna, flagship station for MTSU Sports. Courthouse clock time, 6 o'clock.
This is Primetime Sports, WGNS, Murfreesboro, Smyrna, 1019, 100.5, AM 1450, WGNSsports.com, Big G TV, streaming video, and always at the game. The game. It's Primetime Sports, presented by Ideas Tees. We'll take a look back at last week's big games and get you ready for the weekend ahead. Local prep sports, MTSU, UT, and Vandy football, the Titans, and much more. Now let's join the Primetime Sports team right here on WGNS and Big G TV.
Good evening, everybody, on a Thursday night. Clark Blair in the house, Danny Brewer in the house, Rod Edwards at the house.
Rod Edwards is at the house, man. You know, I guess if I had a house as nice as Rod's, I might be there too.
He's trying to dress it up a little bit. It's got some contractors coming over, looking at some painting. He's doing a honeydew.
Well, that's okay. You know, sometimes you got to do that stuff.
You got to do that. You took your honey to California.
Yeah, sure did.
You had to do some honeydews.
Yeah.
That's just part of the gig, fellas. It's just part of the gig to stay in the good graces.
If you want it to last.
If you want it to last, that's exactly right.
Yeah, I had this one old boy. I'd been married like, I'm knocking on 40's door now, 39 years, but I'd been married about 30 years, and I said, man, how long have you been married? He said, well, if I count up all three, 25.
No, I don't want to count up all three at all.
No, exactly.
Not at all. All right, tonight we're going to cover everything. Fall sports, college, pro. I'm going to fuss a little bit at the Titans later. Danny's was up in Kentucky this weekend. We're going to talk about that. We'll look at high school, of course. It's hard to believe we're already in week 4, and there's some games coming up Friday night that's going to be huge.
Time flies when you're having fun. You know, the thing about it is, Brian and I touched on this on Saturday morning. Every game is big in this district, in this Rutherford County district. Every game is big. There are no off weeks. It's like the SEC of high school football. I love it. All the games are big.
Ooh, the SEC's got a good game up in Knoxville. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Tonight's show, as always, brought to you by Ideas Tees, the place in Rutherford County for school spirit wear, screen printing, embroidery, specialty items, and more. Visit them at 111 East MTCS Road, right across from the school off Memorial. You can also shop for officially licensed MTSU Blue Raider gear from Raider Tees, polos, hats, and more at their showroom. Ideas Tees can put your logo on just about anything. Stop by and see how they can help you promote your favorite team, workplace, or organization. Learn more at ideastees.com.
Rely on the experienced professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air.
Whether it's the blazing heat of summer or the bitter cold of winter, let the Rheem Pro professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Conditioning on West College Street keep your home or business comfortable year-round. We service all major brands and in most cases offer same-day service. Call us today at 615-890-1311. Prentice Allsup Heating and Air, your Rheem Pro partner heating and cooling contractor on West College Street, just under the Thompson Lane overpass.
Kenneth Barrett is a leader who serves first. After nearly 3 decades in uniform, he knows how to listen, mentor, and build trust. And that's why he's running for Rutherford County Sheriff. He'll lead with integrity and genuine respect, putting people first, building unity, and ensuring deputies and the community feel valued. His mission is simple: to serve with confidence and competence every day.
I'm Kenneth Barrett, running for Rutherford County Sheriff. I'd appreciate your vote.
Paid for by Kenneth Barrett for Sheriff. Treasurer, Jam Stewart.
Clark's Auction Company will get you top dollar for your property.
Clark's has a team of experienced auctioneers and realtors who make selling your property simple. Whether you're selling your home, farm, or have an estate to settle, auctions are easy, fast, and profitable. You don't have to worry about the hassle of updates, repairs, or showings, and you'll receive multiple offers on auction day.
Clark's Auction Company will get you top dollar for your property.
Clark's Auction Company, committed to auction excellence.
Sold it to you, 27.5.
Each team knows which play can be the winning move. I'm good neighbor State Farm agent Celeste Middleton, and I'd love the opportunity to talk to you about combining your home and auto insurance. Call me at 615-895-2700, and I can save you time and money.
It's not just a home or a car. I'm State Farm agent Dana Womack. We see your home and car as the time and memories you put into them. Give me a call at 615-900-0877 and let me help you give them the protection they deserve.
At Dr. Automotive in Smyrna, we're committed to providing local car owners with top-notch auto repair services. With over 2 decades of experience, our ASC certified master technicians are experts in both foreign and domestic vehicles, ensuring accurate diagnosis and timely, cost-effective repairs. From oil changes to major engine and transmission repairs, we've got the cure for your car. Dr. Automotive, keeping your car running smoothly, mile after mile. Visit our website, SmyrnaAutorepair.com.
Primetime Sports, presented by Ideas Tees on 1019, 100.5, 1450, wgnssports.com, and Big G TV.
All right, we're back talking fall sports. It's hard to believe school is about halfway through the first 9 weeks. Soccer and volleyball have less than a month to go in their regular season. We'll start out talking soccer. District 8 AAA soccer standings. Oakland's in first, followed by Siegel, Rockville, Blackman, and Riverdale. Is still really close in all those games. Going to get some shout out to some soccer people. Danny picked one out.
How about Nori Akers of Siegel? I think she grew her roots down there at good old McFadden. Am I correct about that?
She's smart and she's an athlete. You gotta like it.
There you go. Yeah, but she scored a goal and assisted on the match deciding goal with 7 seconds left on the clock in a 2-1 win over Rockville.
Lillian Opie at Stewart's Creek scored all 3 goals in their 3-1 win over Lebanon. In volleyball, District 8 AAA standings, Blackman is undefeated at 4-0, followed by Siegel, Oakland, Riverdale, and Rockville. Some shout-outs for volleyball. I'll start with Abby Zimmerman of Riverdale. 29 assists, 3 aces, and a 3-0 win over Cheville. You say Cheville?
I say Cheville.
Cheville. I say Cheville as well.
All right, yeah. So how about Anna Clay Shirley from Middle Tennessee Christian? She had 7 kills and 6 aces from Middle Tennessee Christian School.
She's a lot better athlete than her dad.
I think you're right.
Sorry, Clay. I know you're proud of that girl, but yeah, she you see that name pop up a whole bunch. A couple of things I noticed about volleyball. It's mid-season. I want to give shout-outs to these kids for just obviously being incredible players. Maddie Porter at Central Magnet has 161 digs on the year. Addison Burks, one of Anna Clay Shirley's teammates over Middle Tennessee Christian, has 378 digs, going over 2,000 for her career. Bailey Culpepper from Middle Tennessee Christian has 493 assists. And I've already mentioned Abby Zimmerman, but she's got 274 assists as a sophomore setter. Cameron Keckler over at Siegel leads the district with 21 aces. And Kirsten Blocker, that's a good name for a volleyball player.
Very good name.
Kirsten Blocker, senior hitter, defensive specialist, 21 aces as well. So volleyball, it really is a good sport to go watch. They had that big block party down in Nashville, and they had like 12,000 people there to watch it.
You know, volleyball is one of those things, when you read off these statistics, if you're keeping score, there ain't no sleeping over there at scorer's table. You got to be paying attention because you got digs and blocks and assists and all the stuff that you got to keep track of.
I'm terrible. I get to watching the game. I think that's why Brian Barrett fired me from doing. I did basketball like twice.
Yeah.
And
got too caught up in the game.
He just shook his head when it came to statistics because I was like, yeah, they've got rebounds, a whole bunch of them. Yeah. All right, speaking of soccer, the 8 AAA women's soccer Pack the Park night is at Siegel this coming Tuesday, September 16th. There's a doubleheader. Oakland plays Blackman at 5. Siegel plays Rockville at 7. There are going to be food trucks, and you can make donations. All proceeds go supports Special Olympics. In cross country, Central Magnet won the Boys Classic over at Heritage with a score of 20. Now, for you non-cross country people, you get a point based on your place. To get 20 is incredible. They had 7 runners finish in the top 10. Blake Nutter was the boys' champion. They had 3rd place, 4th place, 5th, 7th, 8th, and 10th place. And they only top 5 scores, so great job there. If you're a cross-country fan, and you should be, if you've never been in the sport, there's a cross-country event from Siegel, the Invitational over at the VA Golf Course. Oh, I missed the VA Golf Course.
So the VA Golf Course is no more?
Is no more. But it's a great place for cross country. That's this Saturday. High school and middle school will be running. I like cross country because the fans cheer for everybody.
Yeah, that's good because it's an achievement. It's you versus the course, and so if you can complete it, then you're doing something.
Well, and probably if they're like me, most fans there watching the cross country event couldn't run the cross country event anyway. So I was like, hey, y'all are doing great.
Yeah.
Even the kids that come in first or the kids that come in last, there's always people cheering for them.
Right.
And I loved it. I tell all my kids at McFadden going to middle school, if you're even interested in cross country, do it, because you've got to be determined to stick with it.
No doubt about it. It's a sport of determination and dedication. So it's a good training ground for life.
Well, we talk about building character, whether it's football or any other sport. Cross country is another one we just mentioned, talking about it. You want your kids around good kids. You want your kids around people that have a drive.
Right, exactly.
To do something. A kid that also has a drive, I want to throw a shout out to Chris Washington, basketball player at PCA. They won state last year. He just signed with Alabama.
Ba-boom, huh? How about that? Roll Tide.
So,
okay.
Tide.
So, all right, maybe I went a little too far.
I'll give the boy credit for going to Alabama. A lot of schools, including Tennessee, were after him and talking to him about coming there. But he chose Alabama and to play for Coach Nate Oates. I won't hold that against you, Chris, but I will root against you when you're in college. No offense. All right. We talked a little bit about it before the show. You were busy this weekend. What all happened where you were?
I was at Kentucky Downs. On Saturday, they had 6 stakes races. The purse total for those 6 stakes races was $13 million. Every race was worth at least $2 million. They had 2 races that were $2.5 million. So you had the Kentucky Turf Cup, and it was a Breeders' Cup winning you're in. And then you also had the Mint Millions. Those were $2.5 million races. Lots of excitement, lots of good horses, good horsemen. When you put that kind of money out there, it draws the best. They show me the money and they'll come. There was more big purses in the Louis Vuitton store, and they and it was lots of excitement. Then I was back on Sunday. They only had 2 stakes races there, but on Saturday, I think they set a record day for handle, which the handle is what's bet on the races. So I think there was over $25 million wagered on Saturday at Kentucky Downs, and not maybe not necessarily on track, but when you calculate everything as far as the online betting and all that stuff, $25 million wagered. Lots of big horse races there. The horse that probably one of the horses that impressed me the most was a horse called Stellify out of the Brad Cox barn. And here's what impressed me so much about her was she came back. She had run in an allowance race just 8 days earlier, because how the meet's set up is 7 days, but you have like a Wednesday, a Saturday, a Sunday, then a Wednesday, then a Saturday, Sunday, then another Wednesday kind of type thing. So it's spread out a little bit. So she had run 8 days prior. She won, led every step of the way. All right, so now she comes back in the Graded Stakes Company, and she led, broke well, led every step of the way in this race and won it too. And a big step up in class too. So Stellify out of the Brad Cox barn, she's 4 for 6 lifetime. Watch out for her in the Breeders' Cup. I think she might be somebody that you can make a little bit of money on in the Breeders' Cup.
And like I said, I drove right by it. I mean, it's just right across the Kentucky line.
Right across the state line, exit 2. This place, I'm going to give it a little commercial for them. It's a wonderful venue. It's an entertainment destination. Now, when they have the live horse racing meet, obviously that's when I love to go, but they also have over 1,000 gaming machines. They've got some high quality steakhouse in there and a couple other restaurants. Now they have the Circa Sportsbook. So if you want to go down there and watch football or basketball or whatever, there's TVs everywhere. One TV in there almost as big as the one in your living room, but it's huge. It's very swanky, nice booze, stadium style seating. It's really, really nice. So if you're looking for something to go do, go down there and check it out. Like I said, then the Circus Sportsbook is really, really nice. I mean, it's very nice. All of it's relatively new, right across the state line.
45 minutes from...
45 minutes, 50 minutes. I think it took me 50 minutes to get there on Sunday. Saturday, I run into a little traffic because, when you're going through Nashville, you never know up I-24. You never know. But Sunday was good. And Sunday, we saw a horse run, and he kind of reminded me a little bit of you, Clark. Yeah, his name was Street.
Slow and old?
No, he was fast because he was another horse who was a 2-time winner at Kentucky Downs this meet. Street Beast. That was his name.
Street Beast.
Street Beast. Yeah. I said, dang, it looks like old Clark Blair there.
My problem, to go somewhere with all those TVs is my ADD kicks in. I can't, my son at home wants to put the 4 screens on the TV. I'm like, dude, I can't watch the game. I'm trying to pay attention to everything. It drives me crazy.
Well, you've just got all that gray matter up there, and that's kind of what happens is you can't. It's harder to focus on one. But I'm telling you what, when you look at that Circus Sportsbook, I mean, they've got like one TV that is just massive. I mean, it's like the big screen. It's like you're sitting in a movie theater. It really is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've been to Vegas a couple of times for different things, and I go in those places like, oh my gosh, there's too much going on. It's hard to watch because I'm like, Nolan, just get it back to the one screen. Just watch the Titans, which we're going to start talking about now. The Titans, because he's too busy watching Red Zone because he's checking on his fantasy team, seeing scoring points.
Right.
But all right, y'all. I don't know. I don't usually yell at the Titans because we're just not very good. I yelled at the Titans, primarily Coach Callahan. All right. You said you watched part of it, but I'm gonna give you a scenario. All right, so you got the ball, Danny. I'm gonna give you a minute before halftime. All right. You got 2 timeouts. The other team's got 2 timeouts. You're at the 10.
Your own 10 or their 10?
Your own 10.
Okay.
You got to go 90 yards. What are you calling?
I mean, I think the first couple of plays, I'm going to take a shot, and I'm going to try to get, like, first down or something and get out of the hole a little bit. And then if on the first 2 plays, if it's like incomplete pass, then I might run the ball, just try to run some clock out, But the first 2 plays, I'm going to try to go down the field a little bit.
Well, and see, I started to say, Danny, you're as bad as Coach Callahan. But you said go down the field. We ran 2 outs, 2 out passes, because Callahan said he liked the look. Well, okay, so 2 outs, 2 incompletions, very little clock. They still got their timeouts. We're up in the game right before half.
Like 12-10 or something? Because it was on in the press box up there at Kentucky Downs, but I wasn't paying a whole lot of attention to it. But yeah, I think it's important to go down the field because you go down the field so that you can hopefully set yourself up to score.
Well,
right?
That does make sense. But at the same time, my daughter said, she was watching, she goes, what are we going to do? We got time. I said, they're going to run up the middle 3 times, run the clock, and go to halftime and be glad they're ahead. That's exactly what I thought. He threw it 3 times. The third time, Cam got sacked. Luckily, they put it on the 1.
Okay, I think I saw that because I think I saw that because they thought it was a safety, right?
I thought it was a safety, but it wasn't. So then we had to punt. So, and then of course Denver scored right before the half to go up on us. I was so mad.
That's one of those huge momentum swings that, man, when things aren't going right, that kind of stuff happens to you. It's easy to second guess. But I think that you go down the field. That's what you have to do when you're at your own 10-yard line is you try to go down the field. Or, you maybe even you run like a draw play. Something like that to try to catch them off guard.
Well, again, it's a time factor. You got a minute. You don't want to do anything dumb. Nothing stupid, Coach Callahan. Run the ball. Take a chance. Like I said, if you're going to take a shot, throw it deep. You might get a penalty call because Lord knows the Titans did. 13 penalties, 131 yards. Nothing was worse than we're still in the game. Denver tried to give us the game. They tried to give us the game. We had them in the 4th quarter. We still had a shot. Big Jeff, who played well all day long. All right. So I go or you tackle some dude and they're getting ready to blow the whistle. All right. And I'm coming up. Well, they're going backwards. He's getting ready to blow the whistle. Big Jeff just hammers him. 15-yard penalty, first down. Again, I yelled at the TV, and I don't want to take you on, Big Jeff. Big Jeff, you said it yourself, so I agree. That was just dumb. We won the turnover battle. Defense played better than we thought they would. Cam, not so much, but, I mean, that was considered the best defense there is in the NFL last year, or the argument was. So it was okay. He didn't do anything great. Our leading receiver, 29 yards. And that was our running back. Not good. Calvin Ridley, dude, you got to catch the ball. You've got to catch the ball. You got to help your rookie quarterback out some. I mean, there's just things after things that occurred. And when you don't have a good team, and we don't, and everybody knows it, you can't play sloppy.
No, you can't beat yourself. You got to make the other team beat you. You want them to win the game, not you lose the game.
So I am trying. I was reading an article about panic or don't panic. I'm trying not to panic, but it's hard when somebody hands you a gift and you don't take it. And so the Titans host the LA Rams this Sunday. So Matthew Stafford's coming to town, and I worry about him throwing the ball all over the field, and it'll be interesting. But I'm telling you, I think the Titans fans are on a short leash with Callahan.
And deservedly so. I mean, like, they want to win. I mean, how long has it been since the Titans have had a winning season?
A while. It's been a while. We're going to take a while off, give you a commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Since 1966, Fans Heating and Air has been a symbol of quality for Murfreesboro and Rutherford County. For friendly, complete service on Amana, Bryant, or American Standard heating and air products, Fans will do it all. Sell you your choice of products and then install it with their factory-trained, experienced, professional staff. In the unlikely event you need service, Fans will be there with trained technicians. Fans Heating and Air is located on Jayhawk Court. Call 615-893-7930. Fans Heating and Air.
We're talking with Anne-Marie Brents at Rick's Barbecue on Warrior Drive.
Our sandwiches are very popular. Our pork and our chicken are probably most popular pulled meats. We have spare ribs. They're delicious. They fall off the bone good. We don't put sauce all over our meat.
And that's so you can choose mild or hot sauce or their signature white sauce.
White sauce is our special kind of secret sauce. It's delicious. It's kind of got a kick to it, but it's not too spicy.
Barbecue smoked chicken, ribs, loaded baked potatoes. Check out Rick's Barbecue, 212 Warrior Drive.
Hello, this is Coy Young at Las Casas Feed Supply. We'd like to welcome you to our door and hope you find the customer service and expertise that exceeds your expectations.
Las Casas Feed Supply caters to all homeowners with a quarter acre to several acres, focusing on premium feeds and dog foods you won't find in box stores.
Nutrition is our specialty here at Las Casas Feed.
And yes, you can even get milk from the MTSU dairy at Las Casas Feed Supply, the best milk in town. Las Casas Feed on Barlow Lane, just off Highway 96 East in Las Casas. Middle Tennessee Christian School, training for eternity.
People love to see us on the schedule when they have a home game because our fans show up.
MTCS President Matt Tiller.
The way we travel is just phenomenal. Our parents and our community are fully engaged in our school. When we compete, we're trying to do it in a way that honors God. We want to win. We also want to do it in a way that pleases Him.
Providing Christian values and academic excellence in a nurturing environment. That's Middle Tennessee Christian School. Invest in the future of your child. Find out more at mtcscougars.org.
Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance are the leading experts in sports medicine and performance, and the team physicians for NFL, college, and high school athletes across Tennessee. TOA offers same-day appointments, walk-ins, and urgent care for acute orthopedic injuries that can't wait. TOA is proud to support Rutherford County high school athletes. Having a specialized care team you trust can make all the difference in your athletic journey. To find a TOA location near you, visit TOA.com.
Primetime Sports, presented by Ideas Tees on 1019, 100.5, 1450, wgnssports.com, and Big G TV.
All right, we're back. I was supposed to move on to another topic, but I got to talk a little more Titans because I got a couple more things to get out of. Number one, Danny was mentioning you can't beat yourself. We talked about it after the break, and we talked about the penalties. So this is something Callahan talked about on the offseason. He said, I made an emphasis. I rewarded players and the teams and removed or gave points based on penalties. He says it was a talking point for months. You still came, you had 13 penalties. That's not coaching. You, as a professional, you got to know better.
It boils down to focus and understanding your job and making sure that you're taking care of your business. You know, that holds true at any level, and that's when you have good teams, you have that focus. And I think right now, no offense, Titans, but you're not a good team. You're not a very good team.
But if you're not a good team, then jerk a knot somebody and bring them to the sidelines. Like I'd love to see him jerk a knot and Jeffrey Simmons. I think that'll send a message to everybody when he did that stupid penalty there at the end. I think you jerk his butt out. You probably don't chew him out because he might beat you to death. But you still, it's like, you got to go. That's something we believe in. The other thing is this. There was a play. Our wide receiver caught the ball right there on the sidelines, landed on his elbow before going out of bounds, and they said, no catch. Coach, what are you doing?
I'm going to challenge it maybe.
Okay.
Let's take a look
You
at it.
challenged it. I challenged it that day. My daughter, no offense, Devin, you do know football. My daughter's like, they're going to challenge that. I said, he's not challenging. Sean Payton, the Denver coach, challenged so many times it was getting on my nerves. He didn't challenge that call.
Are you limited to challenges?
He hadn't challenged anything yet.
Yeah, okay.
He didn't challenge it. I mean, Sean Payton, like I said, had done like 3 challenges before that, and then we didn't challenge. You're telling me nobody on your staff is watching that and then watching a quick replay going, Psst, coach, challenge, throw your flag. Nobody's doing that?
Sounds to me like the ones who are challenged are the Titans.
Well, the Titans are challenged, and it challenged my patience on Sunday. We'll see how it goes this Sunday. All right, we're going to move on. Let's talk college for a minute. The Blue Raiders. So I told you I was in Kentucky too. Went to a place to eat who had TVs everywhere.
Right.
And I walked in and looked up, and the first TV I saw, it was 14-10. I went, oh my gosh.
Right, yeah.
I was like, that is amazing.
Yeah, no, played a lot better first half, Talked with Coach Mason today. He's excited about what they've got going on. Right now, the main focus, whenever I talked to him before the season, he said, we want to concentrate on the little things. He said, I was too consumed with big things last year. I want to concentrate on the little things. So one of the little things that he's working on now is chemistry. He said, we've got to figure out how to play together, how to complement each other, and how to be a better team. So the chemistry is one of his focal points. The thing I like about Derek Mason when I talk to him is he's always got all these slogans and sayings and all that kind of stuff. And I said, so Coach, just keeping it simple, what's the main focus for this week? He said, man, we just got to chop wood and carry water. That's what we're going to do. We're going to carry buckets of water and we're going to chop wood. And that's right, because they want to just do the simple things. They're excited for the trip to Nevada. He said, oftentimes, and I agree with this, that when you go on the road, maybe it's a little bit easier to be focused because you don't have outside noise. You don't have
girlfriends.
Right, you don't have girlfriends. You don't have Uncle James calling you wondering if his tickets are going to be at the ticket booth. You don't have any of that kind of stuff. You can concentrate solely on football and doing your job, which is what we just talked about with the Titans as far as focus is concerned. So I think work on that better chemistry and figuring out how to do the little things.
Well, I'll give the man credit where credit's due. After that terrible loss against Austin Peay, he says there's so much improvement from week 1 to week 2, and they did. So it was about, I'm looking here, about right into the third quarter, there's about 18 left, and it's still 14-10. We had it 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1 at their 25 and couldn't convert. That would have been huge.
Would have been huge, and when you look back at these type games, I know the final score was like 42-10, right? But when you look back at those things, so what if they convert that 3rd and 1? Or that 4th and 1, what happens there? What if they can go in and they can actually take the lead? Because, when a team like MTSU is playing Wisconsin, the big boys of Wisconsin, and you can take the lead, that old throat starts swelling up a little bit on them cheese heads, and, you just never know what might happen. But when you don't get it, then the snowball can start rolling downhill, and unfortunately this looks like that's what happened.
It did. They managed just 95 yards in the second half, and Wisconsin outgained them quite a bit there in that second half. A couple guys had good games for the MTSU. One, Byard, do you know how to say his first name? Muaz?
I do not. We'll go with Muaz.
Of course, that's the little brother of Kevin Byard. He had a good day at linebacker. He played a lot because former Riverdale standout Alex Mitchell was out with an ankle injury. Don't know how long he's going to be out, but Byard played really well. And then I was very critical of Vadiato. I thought he played well this last week.
He's a kid that has shown promise at times. I think he just, like any football player, you want to see more consistency out of him. But I think Vadiato, he's got some tools.
All right, you mentioned Nevada. Nevada lost to Penn State week 1. So they've had a big game against a tough team. Their quarterback, see if you know this name, Chubba Purdy.
Don't know him.
Chubba Purdy. He is the brother of San Francisco 49ers Brock Purdy. So he's been bouncing around a little bit to multiple places in the transfer portal, Florida State, Nebraska, and now he's at Nevada. And so he's their leading rusher and quarterback for Nevada. A chance to, honestly, for MTSU to get a win.
I think so. I picked them just to try to be somebody opposite when in our pigskin picks. I chose them just to try to make up a game because, when you're in the cellar looking up at everybody else, you got to take some chances sometimes.
And that game can be heard right here on WGNS. We'll talk about that at the end of the show, about all the things you can hear on WGNS this weekend. All right. It pains me to say I lost the game last week in Pigskin Picks because I picked against Vandy, and they proved me wrong.
Yeah, and I did pick Vandy, and they proved me right for a change. That doesn't happen very often when it comes to this stuff. But I think that Vanderbilt has got a good thing going down there on West End. I really do. Now, can they win consistently? The jury's out on that still. But they are a team that to be contended with every week, no matter who they're playing. I think they've got enough talent and they've got enough of the mojo going in the right direction that they can win any game they play.
They're on the road this weekend to South Carolina. Going to be heck of a challenge for them. They have lost to South Carolina for 16 straight matchups, so they would love to break that streak. That Sellers kid at South Carolina, the quarterback, he is a handful to deal with. I mean, I thought about him the other night when I was at that Blackman-Riverdale game watching the kid from Blackman.
Right.
Being a true dual threat, good-sized kid. That's what this Sellers is. He's dual threat. He's a good-sized kid, got a great arm. That kid at Blackman, I thought, oh, my gosh, this reminded me of that Sellers guy at South Carolina a little bit. Vanderbilt shut down Virginia Tech. I mean, that's something. They beat them 34-0 in the second half. They gave up 0 rushing yards and never punted. So they put it on Virginia Tech. So I think Pavia had his little, we're going to win the national championship. We're going to do this and that. People are like, okay. Not that they're going to the national championship, but just like they're playing well.
He's one of the players that gives him a chance against anybody because he's a playmaker. The kid can make plays. And when you have offensive playmakers and you can play a little bit of defense, that's a pretty daggum good recipe.
And he brought something to Vanderbilt that Vanderbilt lacked for a long time, and that's belief.
No doubt about it. The James Franklin era, that was one of the things that James Franklin brought was, hey, well, anchor down, we are Vandy, VU, all that kind of stuff. He brought belief, and we're going to be somebody, and they were. And I think, 3 or 4 straight years in the bowl games, they beat Tennessee like 3 years in a row or something like that, after that huge winning streak that Tennessee had on them. So he changed the mindset down there and changed the culture. And I think that Clark Lee has been able to do some of that same stuff with some of the success that they've had. And I think, they got a kid like Pavia. 10 years ago, they would have never got a kid like that. He wouldn't want to go to Vanderbilt.
Right.
But this, they got him, and part of that is because of what they've invested in their program. Like I said, I think that they've got a chance every time they step on the field. You wouldn't think that about Vanderbilt, but that's the case now. Is they got a chance every time they step on the field.
Yep. Alabama learned that the hard way.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Up the road in Knoxville, huge game coming up this Saturday. The Georgia Bulldogs are coming to town. So is ESPN Game Day coming to town for the 2:30 ABC kickoff. The problem is we've not beaten Georgia the last 8 times. And the time we beat them, and I remember watching it, it was a Josh Dobbs to Juwan Jennings Hail Mary, and I talking about jumping out of my chair.
Yes, we were in Panama City because they played them. It was during fall break, my daughter's junior year, maybe something like that, or sophomore or something. But anyway, yeah, same way because we were there watching, and I was like thinking, oh man, I'm down in the dumps and stuff, and then here we go, and Juwan Jennings makes a play, and you're like, whoa. So yeah, it was a good night in Panama City that night for us.
Well, and it was such a quick turnover for all you Vol fans that remember watching that. The touchdown we gave up, and then turn around the touchdown to win it. I mean, it's like we had that game.
Oh, it was a roller coaster, right?
Yeah, gave it away, and luckily they threw that flag you don't see that flag thrown much, but that kid was running around with his helmet off, and they threw a flag, which a lot of times referees turn their heads, and I wouldn't blame them. Sometimes we throw the flag a little bit too much.
I think you're right about that.
Gave us the field position, and then Juwan just, like we talked about basketball, he jumped up there and just, that rebound was his.
Oh, yeah, he was not going to be denied.
He was not going to be denied. Candace Parker is the guest picker for all you people that like to know what that is. I thought it was going to be Dolly. I heard rumors it was Dolly. Dolly probably not going to do it, but so it is Candace Parker. Tennessee started out as a 6.5 point dog. It's down to 3.5. People are starting to believe which always scares me.
Makes me a little bit nervous too. You know, I'm one of those guys as a speculator from way back. When the line moves a lot sometimes, and you think it doesn't make sense, it's because Vegas is wanting you to go a certain way. I think they're trying to encourage you. So I think that if the line is dropping like that, that may be good for Tennessee because they want you to bet on Georgia. Because, I mean, if you look at it, when you think, well, 8 straight years Tennessee has lost, Georgia is Georgia, Tennessee lost, you know, this player and that player and the other player and all that kind of stuff. So, man, you know, 3.5, man, we need to bet on Georgia. That's what we want. So maybe a good thing that the line is going down like that.
Well, I hope so. Georgia played Austin Peay, who beat MTSU a couple weeks ago. Austin Peay only lost 28-6.
Obviously, Austin Peay is not a bad football team.
Yeah. So, I mean, you think about I was impressed with Austin Peay, but I was down on MTSU. But that's a heck of a – to go do Georgia and lose 28-6 says something. Tennessee, I didn't even watch that game. I would check the stats just to see what was going on. Tennessee won 72 to whatever it was. They put up 72 on East Tennessee State. I felt sorry for them. The Vols have won 9 straight and are 21-1 since the start of the 22 season. The lone loss there at Neyland, Georgia. We got to get them. It is a Checker Neyland Stadium game. It's a sellout, of course. Georgia bringing in their quarterback, Gunnar Stockton, his first true road start. It's going to be loud Saturday.
Well, it will, and I'm going to say this. The first checkerboard game, I believe it was the first checkerboard game they ever did, Baker Mayfield in Oklahoma came to town.
I was there. I hated it.
I was there, too. It was one of the greatest football games. It turned out not the way we wanted, but one of the greatest football games that I've ever been to as far as atmosphere, because it was so electric, was it not?
The stadium was literally shaking.
Yes, it was. And Tennessee was whooping that tail for 3.5 quarters.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Baker Mayfield had another half quarter to play, and the game didn't turn out. And it was so heartbreaking for all of the Tennessee fans because they played their butts off. Man, it looked like they were going to get it done, because Baker Mayfield and Oklahoma come in as a prohibitive favorite, and here we are, like I said, was whooping them most of the game. But electric atmosphere, I'm sure it'll be the same on Saturday, and that's what's really super exciting.
Yep. All right, we're going to take a break, come back, we'll finish up the Vols and talk high school football.
Insurance should be simple, not complicated. That's why at Rayburn Insurance, Agent Rick Hull cuts through the jargon and helps you understand your options clearly. He's committed to finding the right coverage that fits your unique needs and budget. Their team has been a trusted partner in the community since 1973. Ready to make insurance easy? Get with Rick Hall at Rayburn Insurance Agency. He's ready to help you get the protection you deserve.
This is a paid legal ad.
I'm attorney John Day. My wife Joy and I love dogs and have one of our own. But we've also helped people who have been injured by dog bites and dog attacks, as well as bicyclists who crashed after a dog attack. You need to know that the dog owner may have insurance to help pay medical bills and other expenses because of a dog attack. If your loved one has been injured by a dog, call the law offices of John Day for a free consultation.
Pizza. You can now order Murfreesboro's favorite pizza online at sirpizzatn.com. We've made ordering online a breeze. From sirpizzatn.com, tap on the location nearest you and begin your order for carryout or delivery. You can order the Royal Feast, create your own, spaghetti, calzones, everything right from our online portal at sirpizzatn.com. Sir Pizza, you made me love pizza again.
If you need concrete work done, who would I call? Dan France Concrete. Here's why. He's local. He attended Walter Hill Elementary, Oakland, and MTSU. He served our community as a school resource officer for 9 years, and he's involved in the community.
This is Dan with Dan France Concrete, wishing all Rutherford County student athletes a great season. Study hard, play harder, and be safe.
Dan France Concrete is a licensed and insured residential and commercial concrete construction contractor serving Middle Tennessee. Check out danfranceconcrete.com online to see some of their work.
Head over to J. Mullins Jewelry to check out their selection of rings, watches, custom designed jewelry, and much more. They're a local business located at 352 West Northville Boulevard right here in Murfreesboro. They have gifts for all occasions, weddings, graduations, anniversaries, whatever you need, you can find it at J. Mullins Jewelry. That's at 352 West Northville Boulevard or online at mullinsjewelry.com.
Rely on the experienced professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air.
If your old unit needs a tune-up, the professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air service all major brands and even offer same-day service in most cases. Keep your home or business comfortable year-round. Call us today at 615-890-1311. Prentice Allsup Heating and Air, your Ring Pro partner heating and cooling contractor on West College Street, just under the Thompson Lane overpass. Online at PrenticeAllsup.com.
Primetime Sports, presented by Ideas Tees on 1019 100.5, 1450, wgnssports.com, and Big G TV.
All right, we're back. A couple other ball notes. We mentioned Stockton's first true road start for the Bulldogs. Of course, this is going to be Aguilar's first huge game. I know he's already been in Knoxville last week for ETSU, but he has not felt what he's going to feel this weekend against Georgia. Right tackle David Sanders Jr., one of our top prospects, is back. The line's been playing well. They have not given up a sack yet this year, but you know Georgia's going to bring the heat. But the Dogs have only had 2 sacks coming into the SEC opener, so it's a lot of unknowns because they've played 2 games, but we don't think Syracuse is as good as we thought, and then Georgia's played 2 cupcakes. So Saturday's still a lot of up in the air.
It's a litmus test for both schools because you just, like you said, you just don't know. It's basically 2 glorified scrimmages for Georgia. Tennessee's had 1 glorified scrimmage. You know, Syracuse at least is one of those reputable programs. So and they played them on a neutral site. So I think as far as season experience, Tennessee has the advantage. I'm hoping for a big old defender on Tennessee to come on in there named Arion Carter. You know, I think hopefully he can have a really good game. He's a kid with a great motor and lots of skills, and I would love to see him shine against the Bulldogs, a former Bulldog, whooping some Bulldogs on Saturday.
That'd be fantastic. Stockton is a good runner. He can scramble. You know, he ran for 73 yards in Georgia's opener, so Aaron's going to have to be after him. Tennessee's 3-headed running monster of Bishop, Thomas, and Lewis have been an effective group. They're averaging 250 yards per game, but Georgia's only given up 61. So I'm a little nervous just because it's Georgia. You feel like you got to get over that hump, but we can.
Absolutely you can. You know, tailback by committee, I love it. You know, if one kid's not working, you roll another one in there, and you don't really have much of a drop-off. Tennessee has been, known for that for many, many, many years of going tailback by committee. Way back in the Johnny Majors days, they did that stuff.
Absolutely. All right, let's flip over to high school football here in our last part of this segment. Friday night was, no offense, was just terrible weather-wise.
Horrible Mother Nature. She controlled everything, and she threw a huge monkey wrench in all kinds of stuff. There were weather delays. All kinds of stuff happening, and so it made everything challenging for all the schools.
Well, we tried to move the games up. Everybody started at 6 pretty much. Y'all started at 6 in Smyrna, right?
Yes, sir.
We started at 6, but I mean, you could see it coming. The radar was terrible. It's just, it's bad enough for rain, but lightning delays, Riverdale's was 2.5 hours. You said Smyrna's was 2.
Yeah, it was 2 hours. The lightning struck. We knew it was going to be at least 30 more minutes, and then the administration said, "Hey, just in the best interest of both programs and all concerned, we're going to call it."
Well, we had to clear the stadium.
Right.
Blackman and Riverdale, my wife's the principal at Riverdale, had to take kids inside the school for safety. We brought Blackman's kids in the gym. That's teenage kids sitting around for 2 hours waiting to do something. That's not good.
Right. No, not good at all.
Fans having to go out to the cars and wait and, waiting for the game to start. But, your administration ended the game. It was 35-0. Again, I thought it was a great call by the administration. I know everybody wants to play that game, but, you don't want anybody getting hurt in that kind of conditions either.
No, you don't. And the whole thing is when they had just started another lightning delay when they decided, hey, we're going to, because it could have been another strike and another strike and another strike. So it could have been at least an hour or better before the kids ever got to go back out on the field. And then, what's the field conditions? I mean, obviously you got the turf, but still when it's wet, it's different than when it's dry. So I think that it was the best, in the best interest of all parties concerned. I do agree 100% with the administration.
Well, of course, we had the Kraske Bowl going over at Riverdale, and neither one of them wanted to give up an inch. They wanted to finish. And gosh, what a finish it was. 17-10. Blackman led pretty much most of the game. Riverdale tied it up, went ahead 17-10. Right there at the end, 4 downs in scoring position. Last play, even Brian caught it. He caught it, and I was like, oh my, because I couldn't see it.
Right.
And I was so excited. And then it's like, no, it's on the ground. I was like, oh my gosh, to end the game on that 4th and 6 pass play.
Right. So I asked Will, were you going for 2? And he said, probably. You know.
He can say that now.
Yeah, he said the wheels were turning. He said probably so. You know?
I would have too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
In those conditions.
Absolutely, yeah, no doubt. On the road, you've just scored. You got the momentum. Yes, I agree with it wholeheartedly. That 2-hour delay, you don't want to go to overtime.
Well, he mentioned the Elliott, who's the quarterback, and the Kemp, the running backs, probably the best quarterback running back duo in the region, and I would agree with that. I mean that. The Elliott kid, you can't get him down at the quarterback position, which gives his receivers time. And I mentioned before the show, he just kind of like wrist snapped about a 50-yard bomb down the sideline for their first score and got down to about the 3. I mean, the kid is good, is a good player. Other games around the area, we've already mentioned Riverdale, mentioned Smyrna. A game that was stopped and then came back on Saturday, which people talked about doing, but everybody didn't, was that Siegel Stewart's Creek, and I was shocked.
Yeah, when I interviewed Coach Renshaw on Saturday morning, he said, "Man, this is like totally uncharted waters for us." Here I am. I've had like 12 hours to think about this 3rd down and whatever, or 2nd down and whatever it was on R11. I got all this time to think about what we're going to do on defense, you know. And he's had all, and Coach Caudill at Stewart Creek had all this time to think about, hey, what player are we going to call on offense? So it was a little bit of a different scenario for both schools. But, you know, hey, hats off to Siegel for pulling it out, because I guess Stewart's Creek scored and tied the game up, and I guess Siegel took it down, kicked the field goal, and won the game.
Again, hats off to the Stars. I was shocked because I wasn't expecting the Stars to be in this game. You know, they've been running all over people down at Stewart's Creek. That young man's like almost at 500 yards on the year already. But they held him when they had to hold him in that 28-yard field goal. You know, it was the difference in that game. So we talked about, you know, you got Oakland. Now you see what Blackman's got. And then you got everybody else fighting for the other 2 spots.
Absolutely right. That's why I said earlier in the show, every game is a big game. Every game. And that's exciting for guys like me and you who are fans and who are media. It's exciting. Lots of excitement.
Other games, Eagleville 42-0 over the Tennessee Heat. Shout out to Marshall Fields, 3 carries, 60 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 receptions, and a touchdown. Eagles improved to 2-1. They're playing tonight. We'll talk about that in a minute. PCA 3-0 for the first time, won its first region game over Grace Baptist. Their schedule's going to pick up, but again, 3-0. Congratulations to them. Rockville got their first win of the season after 2 heartbreaks, 30-6 over Laverne, and so that's Riverdale's opponent this week. Rockville's right there in the mix. That was their first region game. They're 1-0.
Exactly right.
And so, I mean, it's anybody's game there. All right, so let's take a look this week. Oakland 3-0 taking on Pearl Cone 0-3, which is a surprise. I thought Pearl Cone's 0-3, but they've been doing the Hooked on Phonics schedule. Did you know that?
Yeah.
They have played BGA, CPA, and who was the other team they played? NBA.
Right. Yeah, they play a bunch of initial teams.
So they're playing all the initial teams. So that's not going to be a rollover game for the Patriots despite their records.
Pearl Cone has a very proud program. I remember back in the day, I was writing for the Nashville Banner. Whoa, that tells you how long ago, Nashville Banner.
Wow.
And Maurice Fitzgerald, I interviewed him a few times when Maurice Fitzgerald was the head coach, and his son, Maurice Jr., was the quarterback. John Henderson played on with them and all that kind of stuff. That tells you how long ago this was. But Pearl Cone, they won a couple state championships, you know. Well, with John Henderson, what they would do is, I think little Mo would roll out and just throw it up in the air. And John Henderson was so big, couldn't nobody do nothing with him. So, but they've had a very proud football program for a long time. So, no, this will not be a complete rollover game. When you look at the records, think, oh, but no, it's not that way at all. One thing I want to say about Oakland, Craig Tutt, okay? So at Smyrna, when they were playing the other night, if you didn't know how good this kid was, there was one play where he showed everybody how good he was. Looked like he was hemmed up. They give him the ball. It's a 3rd and about 6 or 7 from about the 40-yard line. Looks like he's hemmed up. Smyrna thinks they've got him stopped. Bam, 360 spin out of it, down the sidelines, 40 yards to pay dirt. King Tut showed why they call him King Tut.
He is. He's a player. Other kid for the Patriots, Joe White, the Tennessee commit, had a 46-yard touchdown reception. Well, that's going to be interesting. If White goes to Tennessee and Tut's at Ole Miss, that'd be an interesting matchup because Tut will probably play DB at Ole Miss.
I think you're probably right. I think he will because he's a very talented running back, but he's an extremely talented defensive back. And the other kid,
White.
the White, man-child. I mean, he's a man-child.
But
he's a specimen.
But we also saw the kid from Knoxville Catholic. He's going to Tennessee.
Yeah. It'd be interesting. Yeah.
That'd be a good foot race, that kid from Catholic versus Tut. That'd be really interesting. Stewart's Creek, the loser we talked about to the Stars the other day, 0-1, head to the 1-0 Rockville Rockets. It's a home game for the Rockets. The Brown kid, his stats are this. He has 545 yards. Sorry to cut you a few. In 3 games. And so it's almost like a must-win for the Creek.
You don't want to go down 0-2 with your losses being to Siegel and Rockville because those Siegel, Rockville, now Riverdale, Smyrna, and we'll throw Laverne in there too, they're all going to be fighting. So you need to win against those teams because, I mean, just being real, Oakland is going to be very tough to beat. With the talent level that they have and the coaching and the Patriot way, they're going to be very tough to beat. And Blackman now looks like they're a major player too. So, so those are two games you hope to win, but these other games you circle as must-win games.
Speaking of Blackman, 5th-ranked Blackman heads to Nolensville, 2-1, playing well. Nolensville's 2-1, but they haven't seen anybody like Blackman yet. So I think the Blaze is going to continue that. Your Bulldogs are at Siegel, which I think's, it's a top game in the Mid-State.
Oh, it's a huge game. I think both teams are pretty evenly matched. It's going to be a war of wills here. Siegel is good up front. They've got good line play. Smyrna is pretty good defensively, so we're going to see. There's a kid for Smyrna, Jerry Martin, that plays D-line, that he is extremely talented and a very determined Bulldog. He typifies Smyrna Bulldog. I mean, he really does. So it'd be interesting to see what he can do against that O-line for Siegel on Friday night. It's going to be big game there. Very big game.
Very big game at Siegel. The alphabet game of the night is PCA at DCA. DCA sitting at 1-2, but DCA is a power. They've had a couple of tough losses to Jackson Christian and Nashville Christian, so be interested to see if the Lions can make it to 4-0. Middle Tennessee Christian is back in action after that open date because teams dropped out. They're going to Grace Baptist, who is winless. Be a good game for those young Cougars.
Yes, it will be a good chance for them to hopefully get back in the win column.
And then right after the show's over, I'm jumping in the car and heading down to Cascade because tonight Eagleville 2-1 is playing Cascade 2-1. Eagleville moving up playing a 3A team. Marshall Field and the Solomon boy have both been leading the offense for the Eagles. And so that should be a good little game, good crowd in a little small stadium. That should be fun.
Oh, yeah, one of those neighborhood rivalry games, the kind of the community battles that you love to see.
Absolutely. All right, pigskin pick time. We all went with the Eagles. Rod went with Cascade. Not a bad pick for Rod. Rod's doing really well. Dandy and I went with Rockville over Stewart's Creek. I think that's going to be a heck of a game, too. Brian and John went with Siegel. The rest of us went with Smyrna. We all chose Riverdale, Oakland, Blackman, Middle Tennessee Christian. Bill went with PCA. The rest of us went with DCA. Bill also went with Vandy. I'm okay with that, but I picked South Carolina, and so did everybody else. Danny, you went with the Blue Raiders.
I think that there's going to come a time when they're going to shake up the world and they're going to win games that they shouldn't. And that's kind of been their MO in years past, is just when you think you need to throw in the towel on them, they'll give you hope. And I think that they can do it this week.
None of us hoped the Titans would win because we all picked the Rams. That was a pretty easy one. So, Danny, you and I are sitting in the bottom of the standings.
I'm not surprised.
We're here. There must be something about the studio that's got us. Bill's still leading. Right behind him is Brian and Rod, 1 game back. John's 3 games back, sitting in third, and we're in the bottom. But hey, there's a little shakeup could happen this weekend.
You just never know. Well, my problem, Clark, is I'm a dice roller. I roll the dice sometimes, and they've been coming up snake eyes.
Yeah, they've bit me too. All right, the other final game we split on was the Tennessee-Georgia game. Danny, Brian, and Bill went with the Dogs. Myself, Rod, and John went with the Vols. So that could cause a little shakeup right there.
Well, I'm going to tell you the reason why I picked Georgia, so Tennessee will win.
Well, I'll take it. I'll take anything I can get if the Vols will win. All right, we're going to take a break right now and come back and close out the show.
Craig's Tax Service at 142 Heritage Park Drive offers complete tax preparation, financial, and bookkeeping services.
This is Brett Craig with Craig's Tax Service. From personal tax preparation to business bookkeeping, payroll, and taxes, at Craig's Tax Service, our staff is here to help.
Get help with your taxes. Call 890-2233 for an appointment.
As a former Siegel Star football player, I know the importance of the high school sports experience. Good luck to all county student athletes.
Craig's Tax Service, 890-2233.
Looking for the best Blue Raider gear in town? Raider Tees has you covered. From stylish apparel and hats to unique MT-themed gifts and accessories, we've got everything a true Blue Raider fan needs. Whether you're headed to the game, shopping for a fellow fan, or just want to show off your Middle Tennessee pride, Raider Tees is the go-to spot. Stop by 111 East MTCS Road, right across from MTCS, and check out our unbeatable selection. Raider Tees, bigger, better, and go blue.
At Middle Tennessee Electric, we see the lines that link us all, illuminating our neighborhoods, empowering our businesses, and helping us to recharge. Because we believe in the power of good energy. Whether it comes from our grids, the sun, or a kind heart. And as your family and our region continue to grow, you can trust that we'll always be there for you. Middle Tennessee Electric, bringing good energy.
Hi, I'm Lee Colvin, your Edward Jones financial advisor. And while you've heard the saying, slow and steady wins the race, that same concept can be applied to long-term investing. Investing a little bit at a time on a regular basis can really add up. We call this systematic investing, and though it doesn't guarantee a profit or prevent a loss, it's a way to take advantage of market volatility instead of enduring it. Give me a call, Lee Colvin, at 615-907-7056. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Quick, convenient, efficient. 3 words that we all hope to experience when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to bring just that to an industry that's traditionally dictated to the customer when it's time to do business. Whether you're purchasing class pictures in a yearbook, class jewelry, a letter jacket, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience quick, convenient, and efficient. Find out more at jhacompany.com. JHA, your one source for an unparalleled scholastic experience.
Primetime Sports, presented by Ideas Tees on 1019, 100.5, 1450, wgnssports.com, and Big G TV.
All right, let's put a bow on the show. This weekend on WGNS, if you cared, you can listen to the Braves every once in a while. No one seems to care right now. Tomorrow night, starting at 6, it is Friday Night Thunder pregame show. Then we'll jump in at 6:30 with the award-winning
John Dinkins and Brian Barrett
for Rockville versus Stewart's Creek, which will be a great game. I'm going to be
at Siegel Smyrna.
You're going to be at Siegel Smyrna, which that's going to be great updates. I will likely be in Laverne for Riverdale and Laverne. After the game at 9:45 or so, you can pick up Friday Night Thunder's scoreboard and hear all the scores from around the state. Saturday morning, the Coaches Show. Danny will be back in here starting at 9 o'clock. We kick off with Riverdale and run through all the high school teams. At 2:30, MTSU football at Nevada. And then that evening, if you want to pick up Braves baseball, again, if you care, which a lot of people don't right now because they're terrible. And on Monday, the Derek Mason Show. Maybe he can bring home a win from Nevada, and the Blue Raiders can pick up that victory.
Yes, sir. So also, Churchill Downs, they're running the kick off the road to the Kentucky Derby in Kentucky Oaks.
Already?
This Saturday. Yeah, the points races, the Iroquois and the Pocahontas are running. So there'll be some talented 2-year-olds running up there at Churchill Downs. Just a couple of names to throw out there. How about Taken by the Wind, Kenny McPeak trained in the Pocahontas, and maybe the horse that reminds me of me, no more cents. Son of golden cents in the Iroquois.
All right, sounds good. Well, take me to the win because we're out of time, and we'll see you tomorrow night.